Now it's live. We're good to go.
We're now streaming live on Facebook. Hi guys, my name is Matt. I'm the secretary for this meeting. Welcome to the Masterminding group. This is an open meeting. Actually, Sunday nights are supposed to be a closed meeting, but we're having an open meeting tonight. So welcome to everybody. We're so glad to have you here. We typically open up with our introduction, and the Masterminding group is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, successes, and journeys with each other so they may achieve their goals and solve their common problems. At the same time, we help others by sharing our stories and our experiences. The only requirement for membership is a desire to be successful. Masterminding group is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy. Our primary purpose is to stay, identify, and refine our definite chief aim and help others achieve their own awareness of their definite chief aims. So that's what we do it for. And it just happens to be tonight is a follow-up phone call on the definite chief aim. So we're really excited to discuss it. Looks like our fellow panelist Hugo is at a wedding, so we're not going to be able to enjoy him tonight, so it's us. But Napoleon Hill started out with well, I don't know what he started out with, but I do know that he said that 98 out of every 100 people are going round and round like a goldfish in a bowl, coming to the place from which they started empty-handed. And the reason is because of lack of definiteness of purpose. Napoleon Hill, towards the end of his life, came up with the Science of Personal Achievement, which is a book that was written towards the end of his life, like I said, because he was starting to put it all together. And he came up with the definiteness of purpose as the very first, you can see where it says number 1, the very first law. Now, definiteness of purpose automatically develops self-reliance, personal initiative, imagination, enthusiasm, self-discipline, and concentration of effort. All of these being prerequisites to success. So, having a definite purpose, we wouldn't have these other things otherwise, because we're just basically a ship in the middle of an ocean without a rudder, or a sailboat without a sail. So how can we develop that self-reliance? You know, self-reliance really does come from a definiteness of purpose. If you've seen people with a definiteness of purpose, they have a self-reliance because they've got that personal initiative, which is the next thing that they develop. Also, imagination. The definiteness of purpose, once you have it, you start to develop a definiteness of purpose. How can I get what I want? How can I do better, be more efficient, more effective? And of course, self-discipline comes when you've got definiteness of purpose, because you've got something you're working for, and concentration of effort. All of these things being prerequisites for success. Another thing that having the definiteness of purpose is it induces one to budget one's time and to plan day-to-day endeavors which lead to the attainment of one's major purpose. So how can we have success unless we budget our time, right? And you can imagine if you are definite in your purpose or definite in your chief aim, that you're going to budget your time day to day so you can achieve your definite chief aim. I mean, you're so asphyxiated on it, you're so passionate about it, you're going to dedicate the time. And you're going to budget your time. And that's important for success. Another thing about definiteness of purpose is it makes one more alert in recognizing opportunities related to the object of your definite chief aim. And it inspires and encourages and to you to act upon these opportunities. So it's quite an inspiration, quite an encouragement. Once you have that definite chief aim, you're more alert. You can recognize those opportunities. We're going to, I think we are Facebook Live right now.
Yep, we're live on Facebook.
So I'm going to share this on my timeline here. Give me 2 seconds.
Hugo's on here as well. Did you want to talk, Hugo? How are you looking on time right now?
Hugo's at a wedding, but he's here. So anyway, it looks like Hugo might be here. I hear some turn signals in the background, but welcome, Hugo. We know you're at a wedding, so just take it easy. Another thing about the definiteness of purpose, really focusing in on, why am I here? What am I doing? It inspires confidence in your integrity and character, and attracts the favorable attention of other people. Now, the man who knows where he is going and is determined to get there will always find willing helpers to cooperate and help him. So I think that's one of the things about a definite chief aim that I've noticed is that the man who always knows where he's going is going to have people there to help him. People just kind of have a funny way of falling in behind people that are going somewhere. I've witnessed that in my own life. I certainly want to be on the front end. I don't want to be falling in behind. I want to be, forging the way. So having that definiteness of purpose will help me forge that way, keep me guided and directed on my definite path. Now, the greatest of all the benefits for a definite chief aim is that it opens the way for full exercise of that state of mind known as faith. Now, this is because it makes the mind positive, and it frees the mind from the limitations of fear and doubt and discouragement and indecision and procrastination. Now, can you imagine having an automatic ability to be faithful to the never-ending limits? What would you eliminate? You'd eliminate fear and doubt and discouragement. You'd eliminate indecision and procrastination. And you would be able to live in a full amount of faith. Now, we talk about faith in applied faith, and it's very important to success. But it's also critical, because once you have that definite chief aim, you know where you're going and you're not fearful. And because you're not fearful, you've got that faith that begins to develop. Now, faith is a belief in something that you don't see. Now, you believe that once you get further down the line, that you're going to have success and you're going to move forward. So you keep moving forward and you keep taking those steps. And that's something that is rather important to have. If you don't have that faith driving you forward, then it's like not having any gasoline for your engine. Number 6, the reason why a definite chief aim is good is it makes one success conscious, and it protects one from the influence of a failure consciousness. So I'll take them two different sections. First is a success conscious. What is a success conscience? If you have a definite chief aim, you've kind of got a direction on where you're going. And when you just that simple direction of where you're going encourages you to have forward movement. So you get a sense that you're going to be more successful. So you take steps forward in faith, believing you're going to be more successful, and it kind of just snowballs. So as you move down that snowball line, you become success conscious and conscious, and things around you take on a positive spin as opposed to a negative spin. Now, the other thing it does is it protects us. If we have a definite chief aim, it protects us from the influence of a failure consciousness. And we talk about all the people that we're around, how they can influence us, and to be around people that you want to be a better influence in your life. So when you have a definite chief aim, you're moving down the direction of a definite path. So the people around you, hopefully the people around you, are there as part of your success. They're there as part of your path. And it will eliminate and help you eliminate a failure consciousness. Now, here's some examples of men who have risen to high places as a result of definiteness of purpose. What about Walter Chrysler, for example? Now, we all heard the name Chrysler. It's part of Daimler Chrysler, which is one of the big three automakers. Now, this Chrysler cat started out as a mechanic, and he wound up as the head of a very large and successful automobile company. We got Thomas Edison, who chose as his profession the business of inventing. And there was Henry Ford, who built the first successful automobiles in the United States. And Andrew Carnegie, F.W. Woolworth, who made himself rich by operating five and dime stores. Edwin C. Barnes, the associate of Thomas Edison. Now, all of these men owe their successes mainly to the principle of definiteness of purpose, knowing where they want to go, having a plan for getting there, and keeping eternally at it in applying this plan. Now, these are words directly from Napoleon Hill. I don't mean they're words, directly from Napoleon Hill coming through me. I'm literally reading you the words of Dr. Napoleon Hill. This afternoon, I listened to a podcast from Anthony Robbins and Napoleon Hill, and I took notes, and these were the notes that I had on definiteness of purpose. So the notes I had were those 6 things that develop, and they're very powerful. Develop self-reliance. You can budget your time. You're more alert in recognizing opportunities. It inspires confidence in your integrity. It opens the way for the state of mind as faith. And it makes one success conscious. So those are the 6 areas. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Won't be long.
Looks like I'm watching the video on my Facebook page, and it says it's Facebook Live, but it's really a little bit behind.
Facebook Live is always delayed because we're streaming in, and then it's trying to send a higher quality stream to Facebook.
Yeah, that's pretty slick the way this works. All right, so I think one of the biggest things that I had a problem with was defining my definite chief aim. There's so many different paths and directions that we can go, and I know that I myself kind of got lost in what direction I wanted to go, what was most important. So I think you really have to identify your values and make some personal assessments about your definite chief aim. I determined that my definite chief aim in life was to help other people. And I don't actively, go out there, find somebody working and go, say, hey, let me help you work. So I guess that's not the way that I plan on helping other people. But like video casts like this to help you identify your definite chief aim, I think that is what my definite chief aim has become over time. And I've got a definite chief aim also for my finances. I've got a definite chief aim for my education. I've got a definite chief aim for my labor of love, which my labor of love happens to be this mastermind group. So having these definite definite purposes helps me think about, what does my life look like? How do I want it to look like? And what steps do I need to take to achieve these little aims that I have? So let's think in terms of your definite chief aims. What do you want to do with your life? What is something you want to do in your finances? A lot of people with their finances, they want to increase their ability to earn, or they want to decrease their propensity to spend. So that's a definite chief aim that they can use as a groundwork. Now, there's only two ways you can go. You can go up and increase your earnings, or you can go down and decrease your earnings, or decrease what you're spending. That's the only two different ways to increase the power of your money there. So now that you've got that definite chief aim, you might avoid that extra stop at Big B Coffee or Starbucks coffee because it's on your mind. Or so you've reduced that propensity to spend, so you've opened up the door to have more money. There can be definite chief aim in your spiritual life, where you want to practice the principles of success from a spiritual perspective. And there is a spiritual perspective to that. So you coin your definite chief aim as, wanting to engage in the principle of the mastermind to increase your success. There's lots of different ways to develop your personal success. I've got a list. It says basically, what do you want out of life? Where are you going? What will you have achieved by the end of your life? That's an important question. What will you have achieved by the end of your life? If you keep doing the things you are doing now and doing them the way that you're doing them. I mean, we all want better. And I think that it's Abraham Maslow, I believe, that says in the last stage of life, you're going to have integrity or despair. So as we're growing through these stages of life, we want integrity. That's our goal. So what are we going to do to get that integrity? We're going to be good to other people. That's our definiteness of purpose, being good to other people. Now, don't be like the ship that is out at sea without a rudder and without power, left to be blown in any direction that the waves of the wind push it. No one can live your life for you. You must know what you want and go after it. I believe, let's see, it's not W. Clement Stone. It's, who's the other guy, guys? W. Clement Stone.
Steve Barnes?
No, anyway, he does The Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale.
Earl Nightingale, yes, sir.
He illustrates a story about a kind of like a definite chief aim. He says, picture it as if you're in this rock quarry and you're in this humongous earth moving machine, and perched way up at the top is this tiny little man in control of this massive piece of equipment. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to sit back, fold his arms, and let that piece of equipment run its way into a ditch, it's kind of like the power that we have of our own mind, where we can take possession of it and steer it in any direction that we choose. And it all starts with that definite chief aim. In this game of life, you're going to get exactly what you ask for. So it's imperative that you take the time to define what it is that you want. I think my observation is, through life, that most of us, not most of us perhaps, but even in Earl Nightingale's audio clip, he says that, people, at the beginning of life, they're all reared up and ready to go, and then towards 50 and 60, you've got this measure of defeat. Even Earl Nightingale talks about the definite chief aim, and I think before the definite chief aim is literally taking possession of your mind, because how can you have a definite chief aim if you don't take possession of your own mind? It takes me back to a story of a kid I remember in high school who was very talented, very musical. He was always the comedy show, and I just remember how he was always playing the saxophone, and now I see him on Facebook, and he's living I don't know if it's a perfect life, but he's living a great life because it's surrounded by what he loves. It's surrounded by music. Now, perhaps he didn't have that definite chief aim back when he was a kid, but I noticed and I recognize that the time he spent, regardless of what it was, the time he spent made him take little baby steps towards something. Whether it was defined or not, we do not know. We don't know that his definite chief aim was to be a musician. But he was taking steps towards something by actively taking music lessons, by participating in the talent shows, by stepping out in faith and allowing himself to do what he loves. And it turned out to be, unbeknownst to him, his definite chief aim, and now he's a performer. So what are you doing right now? What steps are you taking in life that are moving towards something? Is it attached to a definite chief aim? We need to determine that. There's questionnaires that are out there for identifying your definite chief aim, and I think that we're going to polish up for our workshop. We're going to polish up a questionnaire and make it available to our paying members, so we can help them get a definite chief aim. I think that's the core of it all, isn't it? Is what can I do for you? I can help you. I can help you find your definite chief aim. I can help you make meaning in your life. There's somebody I'm going to try to invite while I'm on the phone with you guys here. I'm going to try to invite Jad. So how's everybody tonight?
Well, thank you very much, Matt, because it's very tough to talk 25 minutes straight away, and you do it very well, my friend. It's very instructive and interesting. For my part, the chief aim, like you said, you talk about Earl Nightingale, and I remember a long time ago, I think 5 years ago, I listened to an audio book from him, and he was talking about the 30-day challenge change something in you, to take a good habit and change your habit, and to take the control of your mind, and to arrive, to don't be like everybody, because if you want to be in the 1%, you have to do what they do. If you always do the same thing, you're going to always have the same result. So it always starts with your mind, your minding. And when I start to change my minding in that mastermind, I got the chief aim to realize many things in my life. And I have to change many things in my life too. It was not a party, I told you that. And it caused me many trouble. But with the time at my job, it do better, because I got a chief aim to go work. I always work at the same place. I was a very privileged guy. Don't search a job for 32 years. I remember when I start at that job, I don't like it. I just take it for the pay, because I got children, the family stuff. And I was like everybody. I buy a bungalow, a big car, and the wife got a car, and we raised the family. But so got something empty inside me, doesn't realize because I was working 60 hours per week just to pay the bill, and to got some comfort, and that's it. For the rest, I don't know how to achieve what I start and what I got in my mind. So when I found that mastermind, I developed a good chief aim for me, to, like you said, my spiritual life, my family life, my work life, and my hobby life, and put that all together to make one, and make a good, something good, but with a goal on it. At the end, I have to find a goal, and all the rest fall in place. Without goal, I cannot go nowhere. So having a big goal in my life, like you said, what you gonna do when you're getting old? Are you gonna be happy? So I was very lucky. I got a good health, and I make 32 years at my job, and I go out of there with all my member and my mind. But I have to do a lot of effort. You have to go training and read a lot of book, go at many meeting, business meeting, a lot of meeting to understand the way to do it. I go nearly for 2 years, 3 years now, 2-3 times per week in that mastermind, and to read many things to achieve just a small project. I make a just small project with nearly nothing, and I take the habit of saving to do my project, and budgeting, and all that stuff to finish something. And after that, for sure, an idea is just expense. And after that, you have to put it on the tablet to make money with it. So, chief aim gonna conduct my life in a good way, in a very good way, because I know what I am to do. I got a good idea to get up, and why I have to get up, and how much time I gonna concentrate on my goal. And each day I have to make a meeting. I have to take care of my meditation. I have to take care of my money. And I have to do what I have to do for the family, and for my mastermind, and all that kind of stuff. And to make a kind of, to balance all that stuff with the goal on it. That's the key of the success. The balance and the quality time you're gonna put on your project each day. Each day, though, you have to put some time in your project. That's what I understand. That's the key for changing your mind. It was that kind of key I changed my mind. It was with that I got money in bank, and it's possible to do anything with it, you know. And it takes time, but younger you start, younger you find your mastermind, and younger you're gonna make some effort. You're gonna have comfort to, and you're gonna succeed in what you love. And that's very important for that. You know, succeed in what you love. And I hope everybody in that mastermind gonna have that. So thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you, Andre. That was very well said. I mean, one of the things I gleaned from what you talked about was that you had a definite chief aim, but that was your definite chief aim was to go to work. Sometimes that your definite chief aim, luckily it was to go to work because it kept you going to work every day, showing up at the same time. That can be a fine definite chief aim. You know, sometimes forcing the time that we have to be there and staying on top of our lives. So that's kind of what I heard you say is that your definite chief aim used to be going to work. And I know that your definite chief aim has evolved. You know, I've been a part of it. Your definite chief aim has evolved since you started the Mastermind group, and that you've gained knowledge through the Mastermind group. Perhaps you've gained maybe some more focus, but
Well, the thing is, I have to be honest with me. You know, that's the best thing when you start in the mastermind. You have to discover who you are right now with clarity and honesty. And that's the only way to change something is not good in you is to knowing you and admit it. You know, you have to surrender. You got some defect. That's what I do. You know, after that, I have to make a lot of effort to change that in the good way. You know, if I don't like my job, I have to learn something in my job. It's okay. You know, to love my job. After that is something else. You know, when you start to learn to love something you don't like, and you are happy with it, the rest gonna be easy. You know, it's for that. Make effort. If you don't like to make effort to changing something in you, to arrive at something, you know, I'm training a lot, so when I go training, I don't like it. It's fucking painful. Sorry for the word. It's very painful, but I got some result after. And many things in life it's like that. You know, in English you call that struggle. You got some struggle, but many times my struggle was provoked by me, and I have to admit that. To don't do it 2-3 times, and I don't know why I always come back at the same place. I got the same minding. I have to change the mind by effort in many things to change what I have to change to arrive at a result I like, and a good result for me. You know, a good habit it's a good habit, and it's very painful and tough to change something you always do and give you some little comfort. You know, you want a big comfort, you have to make big effort. Thank you, Matt.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're right. If you want big comfort, you have to make big effort. And I appreciate the thought processes that you've had about when, you know, your definite chief aim or whatever you're after isn't right, that you're able to change it. So I think that's very important. You know, we all don't start out in life with a definite chief aim, and you look around and you see that successful guy, how somehow he knew what he wanted in life and he went after it, and he just took control of it, and he had an unquenchable thirst, and he took it and went for it, and he got it. And we all know somebody like that. So we can bet that he had a definite chief aim, that he knew what he was going to do, whether it be in that short term or whether it was part of his long-term plan for his life. We don't know, but it doesn't matter. You can have different definite chief aims in your life as well. It will help keep you guided and directed, and it'll propel you towards a future. You know, when defining your definite chief aim, it pays to ask yourself this question. If I had a magic wand and I could have anything I desired, what would I have? And then you can be specific. You can write down the stuff that comes, and you can make goals out of that stuff. You know, what would you really like to achieve? That's something I think that is very personal time for each one of us. Instead of dissipating your mind energy on stuff that doesn't matter, we can focus our energy on stuff that has meaning. And how do we find that stuff that has meaning? Well, we got to find that stuff through our own personal assessments. So the magic wand approach is very telling, because the magic genie has the power to give you everything you want. So if we define that, then it's going to give us a step up on the competition, or on just anybody, you know.
Well, if you remember the story of your Colonel Sanders, you know, this guy succeed after 3 bankruptcy. He got a little receipt for his chicken, and he was sleeping in his car. But one day, he find a good restaurant, the guy who buy his little receipt, and they start a business with that. And 10 years after that, he was multi-millionaire selling chicken. So you never know, but at which price you are ready to pay to succeed, you know? When I was young, I tried a lot to succeed in many things. You know, I started a business. I was younger. I was tough, and I want to succeed badly. You know, but I don't know how really. But I try it. I try it without asking question to nobody. I got an idea, and I go. I go to Montreal, to Vancouver, to see somebody, to sell my idea to that guy. I was 21 years old, and the man, I remember, he was in the big Japanese multinational stuff, and he looked at me like I was an extra. Well, a guy doesn't live in Earth, but he take the time to listen to me, and he said, "Okay, young man, I'm gonna put money in your idea, okay? But I don't know how to handle all the business, but he made it. You know, we succeed a bit, but at which price? Which price I pay after, you can goddamn imagine, because I was not well protected and all that stuff. And this man make a huge success with this idea, but he never paid me well after. I have to go in court, do this and that, and it was well, it's something I remember, you know. So after that, I quit many things because I don't trust people and all that stuff, you know. But today it's another way, you know. Today I'm older, and I got, you know, I make my time, like they said. I pay my my share to the society. I put my children in good school. They all married and things like that. So I got a clear mind, and I got a better goal to achieve. And I put, you know, I signed me a check, and I'm sure, I'm bloody sure I'm going to succeed with this mastermind on it. Because we are very helpful, all the gang together in many ways. And everything we're going to start on long term and short term going to succeed. If we stay honest and we put a lot of love on it, everything going to succeed. I'm sure of that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. If we put a lot of love on it, you know, it's going to succeed. A lot of passion. That's what it takes. Guys, we're not any different than you are. We've got a definite chief aim in our lives that we have to identify. And there's many areas in our lives that we have different purposes. So we have to identify definite chief aims in each of those areas. And it takes work. It takes time. I think that people this day and age, they are uncomfortable with getting to know themselves, that there's some sort of fear with taking the time to get to know yourself. And I can only speak of this because I've had many years of my life where I have run, and not slowed down enough to allow that little something within me to take control. So I can testify my belief is that many people are running around without control of their mind, and that asking them to sit down and write down a definite chief aim could be a very difficult task for them. We talked about writing down the definite major goal in life, and that is going to be one of the steps. Your definite chief goal in life, you got to identify what are the things that you're willing to give up to be able to attain that definite chief aim. So you might be willing to give up TV, or if you want to spend some time developing a business, you might give up the golf league for the summer and take some time to develop your definite chief aim in place of your golf. So there's things that you're going to give up, and you have to identify those things, and you have to be real with yourself. You can't be golfing 3 times, 4 times a month and have extracurricular activities, watch your favorite show on Thursday nights, and be able to, go to work full time on top of that, and then be able to pull off your definite chief aim. It doesn't work like that. You have to give something up, and you have to identify what it is that you're going to give up. Now let's talk about that. Definite chief aim is a focus, right? We begin to get some clarity about our definite chief aim and the direction we want to go in life. Our definite chief aim should contain a step-by-step plan for achievement. It should be coupled with ideally, it should be coupled with our chosen occupation, so that we can use our background and experience each day to propel ourselves closer and closer to our goal. Now, this is being real, guys. When Napoleon Hill wrote this, he recognized that where you're at in life means something. And if you're going to have a definite chief aim, you should take that into consideration. Where are you at currently in life? And take that into consideration as you develop your definite chief goal. So if you were to couple your definite chief aim with, your profession, you're going to be that much more ahead of the game. So if you're an accountant, perhaps your definite chief aim would be to start a tax preparing business. That would be a good definite chief aim because it's coupled with your profession. Obviously, when you're coupling your definite chief aim with your profession, you're going to be able to concentrate on it more. Your definite major goal should be the ultimate purpose of your life, a desire so strong that it will not let you go. So I think that having that definite chief aim in life it eludes some people. They can't grasp it. But our mission here is to encourage people to take notice, you know, where are you going at in life? What are you doing currently right now? What direction are you going? If you were to picture yourself in a stream, and the stream was carrying you, the current was carrying you down the stream, what direction are you going? Are you going to be able to identify what it is that you want out of life, even though you're going down this stream? Are you going to be able to fight the current that is currently going on in your life so that you can have a definite chief aim? I'm listening to the background noises. So don't be surprised. Your definite chief aim is going to include a series of short-term goals and intermediate goals. So identify what those are. And if you really can, you can take the time to sit down and write those things out. I don't want you to be afraid of your definite chief aim or afraid of finding it. And if you find some fear, power through it. It's so important to find your definite chief aim. Guys, you're in a river right now, and that river is flowing. And it's flowing in a certain way, and you're caught up in it. And unless you decide that you want to go to a different part of the river and move yourself over, you're not going to be able to do that unless you have a definite chief aim. You got to know what you want. The river is going anyway. You're going down the river. Every day you're going to work. Every day you're paying the bills. Every day you're paying Uncle Sam the taxes. The river is in full effect. So take control of it and begin to say, okay, I can spend some time with myself. Let me sit here and write down my definite chief aim. And here's some other definite chief aims in my life on my bucket list, things that I want to do. And then take some time to write down what you're going to give in exchange for that. And then after that, write down some definite plans on how to get there. You can't say in 10 years that you want to retire if you don't have a 10-year plan to retire, right? So it really doesn't matter how small you start, so long as you start. So if your definite chief aim in 10 years is to retire, you need to find a vehicle for that. And you can start small and begin to make contributions to that little success bucket until you can begin to see success, and that cycle will start. But without a definite chief aim, how do we know, the direction that we're going? So we want to keep each item separate, and we want to write down why we want to achieve it. And if we write down the motivation, it will crystallize what we want, and it'll help us turn it into a burning desire. So when we continually impress this burning desire on our subconscious mind, it will become a magnificent obsession that will consume us until we have achieved our stated outcome. So I don't know, those of you that are watching, if you have a mastermind group, we encourage you to get one or be a part of ours. But in your mastermind group, what is your definite chief aim as a mastermind group? What are you hoping to accomplish? That is so critical, guys. Having a starting point where you're going, it just sets the juices in flow. So I take, for instance, our mastermind group here. you know, what is our purpose? Our purpose is to help people achieve this, the science of a personal achievement. That's our goal. So once we identify that definite chief purpose, we actually synergize. My energy adds to Andre's energy, which adds to Hugo's energy, which adds to Anthony's energy, and we're able to recharge off of each other and keep the continuous momentum moving forward. And that's the power of the mastermind once you identify your definite chief aim. So, you know, we encourage each of you to identify your definite chief aims, so when you do get in that stream, you can go the direction that you want to go. You're not caught up in somebody else's direction, and that you can have the dreams that you want out of your life. It's 9:54. We've eaten up the hour. I can't believe I've been able to talk that much.
You're very good, Matt. You're very good. I told you that. I'm sure you was not prepared to do an hour tonight, and I truly appreciate it, because it's not simple to do that. But like you said, I think it's a part of your chief aim to be a public speaker, and you got everything you need to do it.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe a definite chief aim would be to be a public speaker, but you know, my specific chief aim is to help people, and if it comes through public speaking, then I suppose that's the way, you know, the direction it'll go. I'm really happy that Hugo showed up. Hello, Hugo.
I've been listening the whole time, brother. I just want to let you shine, man. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, one of the things I heard from Nightingale you talked about tonight is that you become the 5 books you read and the 5 people you hang out with. And, you know, in this day and age where we're always listening to the radio and on our way to work, and we spend 2 hours a day on our way to work, why not spend those 2 hours listening to something that's going to inspire you? Come to find out that 5 years later, at least in this Mastermind Alliance, we are where we wanted to be. And thank you, Matt. Thank you, because today you stepped up to the plate, and a lot of times, you know, you can have something in front of you, and I can see you winged it today. So that's fantastic, bro. Keep that stuff up. We'll see you on the next day, guys. Fair enough?
Yeah, I did have something in front of me. I've been having something in front of me the whole time. Well, you know, earlier today, I unlocked the Napoleon Hill interview with Tony Robbins. So I was able to listen to that interview today. And in that interview, I heard those 6 things about a definiteness of purpose. That's where I got those. The definiteness of purpose, it automatically develops self-reliance, personal initiative, imagination, enthusiasm, and self-discipline. It induces one to budget one's time. It makes one more alert in recognizing opportunities. It inspires confidence in one's integrity. And it induces you to exercise the state of mind as faith. And it makes one success conscious and protects one from the influence of a failure consciousness. So those are the 6 things that I gleaned from that interview with Napoleon Hill today. So that was very good. What is our next topic that we're going to cover? Are we going to stick with definite chief aim with some more?
We go straight with the laws of success after we didn't go through the mastermind principle, but my belief is that we should go straight to the book. So the next step after having a chief aim, it becomes having self-confidence. That's fair enough, boss.
So you want to go right into the book then?
Let's just go.
All right.
Never looking back, forward.
Recognize this book here?
Oh, I love it, bro. Good for you.
Yeah. I bought this book.
Simple.
Yep. You see the preface there is by Don Green.
Very good.
Is this the book that is produced by the Napoleon Hill Foundation?
That is correct. And that is basically when you take the class, That's what you'll be looking at. And again, those are speeches that Napoleon Hill did back in the 30s. That's what he went to talk about as he spoke to hundreds of people. That was the speech that he was saying as he went along. So it's based on the same class that he did back then, that we can do it again.
Very good.
Our goal is to put people in the Napoleon Hill Foundation's class. And in this way, they're getting their certification through the Napoleon Hill. We're just here to help you to go through it. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of our definite chief aims, is to put people through the Napoleon Hill class. Not to put them there, put them through it, but to put them in touch with the Napoleon Hill Foundation to be able to take that class. So that is one of our definite chief aims. I think I'm done with the call. I just wanted to go over one more thing. This here is The Laws of Success in 16 Lessons. This is the book that started it all. I wanted to share a little bit of my knowledge that I've gleaned just today by studying Napoleon Hill. It appears that Napoleon Hill, towards the end of his life, modified his thoughts on the science of personal achievement. Not that he changed anything, he modified it. And what I mean by modified it is that he changed it a little bit. So I look at the Laws of Success in 16 Lessons and I wonder what he changed. And it appears to me that he changed the order a little bit. If you look in the Laws of Success in 16 Lessons, the very first lesson is the law of the mastermind. If you look in the science of personal achievement, which came out towards the end of Napoleon's life, his very first topic is a definite chief aim. So it evolved. The lessons in the Law of Success in 16 Lessons are still valid, but the order changed as Napoleon Hill grew. So that was one of the things that I noticed.
Let me interrupt you, Matt. Should we go through the mastermind principle next week?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we make it we want to have a complete curriculum. For instance, Anthony's going to be in the background downloading videos and saving videos and tagging videos. So we want to have a complete curriculum on the Laws of Success. So if we start with the mastermind principle, then we can just start at point one. It'll be great.
Very good.
Are we ready for it?
We're ready.
All right.
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Perfect. One thing to be looking forward to is the website. Anthony, do you want to share what's coming?
I mean, the specifics of what's coming, I mean, I don't want to go too much into that. It's just that there's going to be a lot more value. That's the big thing. There's a lot more value and a lot more available to the public.
Awesome. So we're building something, guys. We're building something bigger than us. We're all participating in it. And this mastermind, like we said, is designed and developed to help other people find the laws of success, to identify the personal principles of achievement, and to be able to put them in effect in our lives. So I guess I'm done.
Well, Matt, was very good. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yep, and thank you, Anthony, for the Facebook page. But that's Facebook Live, sorry. And you go, thank you to showing up.
Yeah, it was a good call. I'm glad with the way it turned out.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good thing my battery is off. So take care, Anthony. I'm bloody driving again, so I don't want to go live when I'm drive. Stuff is not professional. So take care, gentlemen.
All right.
All right,
You
all
too.
right.
Take care.
We'll talk to you all later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.